Hello everyone, I am Vikram P. Maduri here, and in this video I am going to explain you a couple of basics in SAP HANA which have been frequently asked in the interviews. You can also take this as frequently asked questions in SAP HANA. So let's move on to the first question. What is SAP HANA? SAP HANA is an in-memory database. It is a combination of hardware and software made to process massive real-time data during the in-memory computing. And it combines row-based, column-based database technology. Data now resides in main memory, RAM, and actually it no longer resides on hard disk, in the sense the data which we are accessing is actually from the RAM. There will be definitely a copy in the hard disk, very much there, but the data which we are accessing is from the RAM, which has already been stored. So whatever data is stored in the hard disk is also stored in RAM. So, and whenever we store anything in the hard disk is automatically regularly on a regular basis is updated immediately into the RAM. This is what we have to remember, because there might be one more question which comes up here, that whether the data is stored in the hard disk or not. So data is stored in the hard disk. In case like if you have switched off the system, then we can very well access the data from the hard disk, and again after the reboot the data will get stored in the RAM. All the data that we have in the hard disk will be updated into the RAM. So it's best suited for performing real-time analytics and developing and deploying real-time applications. This is very important point that you need to mention when we are when we're telling about what exactly is HANA. So HANA is a combination of lot of features, and we are going to focus on couple of most important SAP HANA features which we can highlight in a very less time which we have in the interview. So an in-memory database means all the data is stored in the memory RAM, in the RAM, and this is no time wasted in loading the data from hard disk to RAM, or while processing keeping some data in RAM, and temporary data will be stored in the disk. So now what I mean to say from this is that instead of always going and accessing the data from the hard disk, we are actually fetching the data from the RAM, and the entire data that we have in the hard disk is already present in the RAM, which is stored in the RAM upfront. So that there is no time wasted in getting the data from the hard disk. That's what we mean there. So everything is in memory all the time, which gives the CPUs quick access to data for processing. So SAP HANA is equipped with multi-engine query processing environment which supports relational as well as graphical and text data within same time. It provides features that support significant processing speed, handle huge data sizes, and text mining capabilities as well. So HANA is a combination of hardware and software. So it has multi-core architecture, massive parallel scaling, and servers, very economical service, huge data throughout the performance, dramatic decline in the price and performance of the dramatic decline on the price and performance ratio, I mean to say here. So I mean to say, if you are spending $100 for a particular performance, by using HANA you can reduce that to $50. So something like that. So SAP software technology innovations, it has got row-based and column-based storage, and we are going to also discuss about the row-based and column-based. That is also a very important question that we come across in every interview. So compression, the data is getting compressed up to 5 to 30 times when it is stored in the RAM. Partitioning and parallelization is done very frequently, and it's done very perfectly. So analyze large data sets, complex computations can be done very easily, and parallel processing can also be done. No aggregate tables are required in the HANA system. So is SAP making or selling the software or the hardware? So that this is a very important question that we have here, and whether the SAP is selling only the software or only the hardware, or is it a combination of it, or is it marketing it, is it manufacturing it? So this is let me clear this question in very simple words. SAP has partnered with leading hardware vendors like HP, Fujitsu, IBM, Dell, etc. to sell SAP certified hardware for HANA. SAP is selling licenses and related services for the SAP HANA product, which includes the SAP HANA database, SAP HANA Studio and other software to load data into the database. This should clear most of the doubts on whether it is what about the hardware, who is selling the hardware and who is selling the software. So this clears that question, and even this might pop up in your next interview as well. So what is the language SAP HANA is developed in? So this is the most simplest question of all the 10. So obviously it also has a very simple answer. So the SAP HANA database is developed in C++. Now, what is the operating system supported by SAP HANA? SUSE, it's famously called SUSE. So SUSE Linux Enterprise Server is the recommended and supported OS of choice for SAP HANA and is currently running in over 5,800 SAP HANA installations, and even more than that. It's growing very dramatically. Okay, so now here SUSE Linux Enterprise Server's operating system must be there only on the HANA server. Let me clear this concept very in a very simple way. So when the server is running, the server should be running on the Linux Enterprise Server. But whereas when you are accessing the data, when you are accessing it from any of your systems, for example, you are accessing the SAP HANA server through your laptop. Your laptop can have Windows operating system. So that is what I want to clear here. Okay. So what are the row-based and column-based approach? Row-based tables, it is a traditional relational database approach. It is data is stored in a table in a sequence of rows. Column-based tables, it stores a table in a sequence of columns, that is the entries of column is stored in contiguous memory locations. SAP HANA is particularly optimized for column order storage. So SAP HANA supports both row storage and column-based approach. So now if you want to know in detail about row-based and column-based, I'm going to make another video and upload it into YouTube. In that you can just check out in the same channel, JSoftTech channel. You can search for the row-based and column-based storage of data. I'm going to explain you what is the significance of row-based, what is the significance of column-based more in detail, because this is very important concept that we have, and SAP HANA allows us to go for both a row-based and column-based. That's the reason it's called hybrid database. Okay. Now here, what are the advantages of row-based tables? So what is row-based table? What is column-based table? I'm going to explain you that in a separate video. But let us understand what are the advantages of row-based tables. Row-based tables have advantages in the following circumstances. The application needs to only process a single record at one time, many selects and or updates of a single record. The applications typically needs to access a complete record row. Neither aggregations nor fast searching are required. The table has a smaller number of rows. So these are the advantages of row-based. And disadvantages of row-based is like row-based tables have disadvantages in the following circumstances. In case of analytic applications where aggregations are used and fast search and processing is required, in row-based tables, all data in a row has to be read, even though the requirement may be to access data from a few columns. So when we are in short, what I mean from this words is that row-based is not suggestible for accessing the data. For example, if you have huge amount of data and you want to access it every time, then row-based is not recommended. Column-based is always recommended when you are accessing the data. So row-based is always recommended for OLTP systems, online transactional processing systems, and column-based would be most preferable for online analytical processing, because we always access the data. We don't fill the data. So when we are filling the data, you go for row-based. When you're accessing the data, you go for column-based. So that's the simplest way you can remember that. So what are the advantages of column-based tables? Faster data access, as I was just discussing with you. Only affected columns have to be read during the selection process of a query, and any of the columns can serve as an index. So column-based storage allows highly efficient compression, because the majority of the columns contain only few distinct values, and better parallel processing. In a column store, data is already vertically partitioned. This means that operations on different columns can easily be processed in parallel. If multiple columns need to be searched or aggregated, each of these operations can be assigned to be a different processor core. So in short, whenever we are accessing the data, we go for column based. So how does SAP HANA support massively parallel processing? With availability of multi-core CPUs, higher CPU execution speeds can be achieved. Also, HANA column-based storage makes it easy to execute operations in parallel using multiple processor cores. And a column store data is already vertically partitioned. This means that operations on different columns can easily be processed in parallel. If multiple columns need to be searched or aggregated, each of these operations can be assigned to a different processor core. So in addition, operations on one column can be parallelized by partitioning the column into multiple sections that can be processed by different processor cores. With SAP HANA database, queries can be executed rapidly and in parallel. In short, because of the concept of multi-core CPUs, a massively huge data can be processed easily. So that's what it means. So what are the different engines available in HANA? In HANA, there are mainly three types of engines: join engine used for attribute views, OLAP engine used for analytical views, calculation engine used for calculation views. Okay, so now thanks for watching my video, and I would definitely make another video, or even we at least need 100 important questions on HANA. I'm going to explain you that more in detail in the coming videos. This was a very short and simple video, and I'm going to explain you each and every concept on which are basically the basics of SAP HANA. And that will help you in two ways. One is to understand the concepts, and also to attend the interviews based on SAP HANA. Thanks for watching with this video, and if you like this video, do subscribe to our channel youtube.com/jsoftech. Thank you.